Think he'll kick his brother out?
I hope he will.
Do they hate each other?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. All right. I thought maybe there was my fuss with my brother. We get over it. But of course, this is different. I never called my parents racist.
Hi, y'all. Welcome to Reading Royals with body language expert Scott Rouse. I'm Kinsey Schofield. Reading Royals brings history, headlines, and human behavior together in a way only Scott and I can. We go beyond palace press releases and carefully staged photo ops to look at what is really being communicated. Scott, I'm excited for today's show because I don't know if I ever anticipated a Martha Stewart versus Meghan Markle showdown, just because I didn't think Meghan would have the audacity. Is this one of those narcissism things that you sometimes bring up? Like, no, she would have the audacity.
Yeah, I think she's pretty confident, man. I
Yeah.
mean, Martha Stewart's a confident person. She's a gangster. She hangs out with Snoop Dogg.
Well, yeah. But for Meghan to challenge let me get into that because I'm acting as if the audience is privy to all of the information and
Oh,
they
okay.
might not be. So here's a predictable twist in the Martha Stewart Meghan Markle saga.
Okay.
Martha recently told People magazine that she attended a dinner party where Meghan Markle was shortly after Meghan returned from Europe, saying she overheard Meghan talking about her reunion with King Charles. So, of course, people like me were going on TV going, oh my God, here's Martha calling out Meghan Markle for clout chasing, having to use her reunion with King Charles as content to generate attention for herself at a big Hollywood dinner party. But now, an anonymous source claiming to have hosted that dinner party is pushing back to People magazine on behalf of Meghan, insisting Martha's version of events is simply untrue. Anonymous source. According to the ghost host, Meghan barely discussed the trip at all, beyond saying the family had a really great time, which brings us to Scott. We actually have the video of Martha telling this story. So I want to know, does she genuinely believe what she's saying? Did she misinterpret a conversation happening nearby, or is she embellishing the story a little? You're going to tell us what the body language says. And I guess I would say right off the bat, I suspect that the anonymous source is Oprah, but is it strange to you that this person wanted to remain an anonymous source?
No, because a lot of times people don't want to get involved in things. They don't want to be a part of what's going on, but they want to interject into it. That'd be my
Mm.
opinion. I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine wanting to get involved in,
Yeah, but
somebody's.
why go and defend Meghan at all? Why not stay out of it? I mean, I'll tell you the reason why. I'm about to show you the clip. It felt like Martha was talking about Oprah, and then there's a jarring cut to Martha saying, and I started the cut, so I'm sorry I don't have the transition for you, but there's a jarring cut where Martha says, I recently had dinner with Meghan Markle. And so the proximity between the Oprah conversation and the Meghan video and the Meghan conversation in the video, which I stress is edited, so that could be an edit issue and have nothing to do with the truth, is why my head went there. But you know, there is there is something strange to me about somebody wanting to set the record straight. However, anonymously. It's like if you really felt passionately about this, then why not be like, hey, you guys, the dinner party, it was in my house. And I feel so bad for Meghan that I need for you to know that's not true. It's almost like this person doesn't want to challenge Martha Stewart. So they're half assing it by wanting to stay anonymous.
Is there a chance that Martha Stewart may be saying that and saying somebody said that to her?
We'll watch.
Okay.
Well, that's what we'll do. We'll watch the clip and we'll have you react based on what Martha says.
Okay.
Dinner with Meghan Markle the other night. Well, she was at the same table. So I can't say, she wasn't my guest. I was a guest. We were both guests at a dinner party in California. And she had just gotten back from the palace. And I think I didn't talk to her really more than to say a couple words, but I know she was talking about it. If you're an actress, it's hard to then transition to a princess, and then from a princess into a homemaking guru on a television show. It doesn't sort of follow. So go from there.
There's two things we need to address. Let's put this one on the back burner. But
Okay.
but obviously I want you to react to the shade at the end. From actress to princess to lifestyle guru. She
Mhm.
doesn't want to openly criticize her in this interview, but she's like, you figure it out. Like, we'll talk about that in a second, but what's your reaction to the body language here? Because to me, I feel like she completely believes what she's saying. I was at this dinner party with her. She was talking about it being at the palace. And why does Martha Stewart need to lie to us about that? Or, why?
Yeah.
I felt like the body language was totally casual, and the way she kind of like, oh yeah, she just got back from, it's almost like she's pulling things from an organic place in her head, not having to make something up. I don't know. I could be wrong.
No, I see what you're saying, and that makes sense. A lot of it, and I agree with a lot of it. But the only part that bugs me is that part where she talks about she only spoke a couple of words to her. A lot of times when we see a single shoulder shrug, that lets you know or it suggests that person is not confident with that answer or with that statement they're
Would
making.
she not be confident with that answer because she doesn't like Meghan, and she's the I only spoke a couple of words to her? Is she trying to distance herself? Because she says, I went to dinner with Meghan Markle. I was at a dinner party with Meghan Markle. I felt like she was trying to inch herself farther and farther away from Meghan Markle, because at the end she wraps it up with, I don't like her. She
Mhm.
wraps it up with a veiled criticism. But she starts it with like, oh, I was at a dinner party with, or I went to dinner with Meghan Markle. Well, no, I was at a dinner party with her. She was at my table. And I only spoke a couple of words to her. It's like, I'm inching myself further and further away from this person.
Yeah, and but I think when she does do the single shoulder shrug, we'll watch her chin, and that goes toward it. Most of the time, there are no studies about this or anything. It's just my personal experience. When someone's chin goes toward their single shoulder shrug, they're not telling the truth about something, or something is not right in there. So I think maybe she may have said more than just a couple of words to her. She probably had a conversation with her. Is the point I'm trying to make. But she may be trying to distance herself from her because she sees all the heat she's getting from the world at this point.
Well,
So
we also understand that this is not the first time Martha Stewart's criticized her. Martha Stewart is always like, what? Actually, I think the most genuine, the most meaningful criticism Martha Stewart has ever given Meghan Markle was a year ago or a while ago during the launch of With Love Meghan, when Meghan's team went into overdrive trying to force comparisons between Martha and Gwyneth Paltrow in the media. So they wanted everybody to be like the next Gwyneth, the next Oprah, or the next Oprah, the next Martha when it came to Meghan. And at the time, Martha said something along the lines of, I think if you're going to put yourself in a position like this, you need to actually be an authority on the subject, and we'll see how much she really knows, which was, she also stressed that authenticity was important, and alluding to the fact that she felt like Meghan lacked the authenticity that was needed to be in that kind of lifestyle guru, talk show, TV host kind of role. And then even here, she's like, well, she went from actress to princess to lifestyle guru. Like, you figure it out. Like, honestly, kind of just saying like, you figure out where I stand on this, but obviously I don't hold her in very high regard. So that's interesting. I think you're right that Meghan probably was thrust on Martha or thrust herself on Martha. And there was an exchange, but Martha's trying to downplay it because she does not like Meghan and does not want the association with Meghan,
there
is
you
my
go.
opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think that's probably if that's what happened, because why would she um why we see deceptive cues if she is telling the truth about just a couple of words? Because she makes it sound like when she's talking, it sounds like she just said, "Hey, how you doing?" That's about it, and then moved on. But I think she sat by her or something and had to talk to her just to be nice. And Martha Stewart has to be nice in those cases because she's one of the etiquette people too. So I don't know.
And
I
then
agree with you though.
towards the end, when she's trying to nicely dismiss Meghan's efforts in the lifestyle space, did you get any disdain? Did you get any um and that's a tougher question because they've got B-roll over Martha. So we're seeing Meghan in suits and Meghan as on her wedding day.
Hmm.
But towards the end, you kind of see the throwaway. Like, I don't know, you deal with that. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact words, but there are kind of some throwaway lines, like you piece the puzzle together, but I'm not gonna spell it out for you.
Hmm.
Do you get that? Do you get that kind of just like, is she irritated? Is she trying to be on her best behavior? What does her body language tell you? And I know that that's a hard question when we only have a few seconds there.
No, it's I know exactly what's happening there. She's shutting that down, and we see her hands going up and making these little blocking gestures and things because she doesn't want to talk about this anymore. That's pretty much going to be it, I would think. I don't know if she talks about it anymore, but I bet she talks about it even less if they do bring it up. So that's what happens when somebody's. I'm not saying she's done something she wasn't supposed to do. That's not what I'm talking about. But you see this mostly when somebody's done something they weren't supposed to do. You're talking to them about it, and they want to get away from that one little piece of the conversation. So they'll do things like that and shut it down. You'll see them using things called time bridges. And then we went on, and that was it. Well, what happened on the end? Then we went on, and that was it. Did 2 minutes pass, 10 seconds, an hour and a half? How long? So we're seeing all these little bridging statements she's making. So I think her involvement during that party, if somebody sat me down and said, look, we need to know if she was spent a lot of time with her or not, quickly you could look at that and go, yeah, she spent a lot more time with her in conversation than she's saying she did.
And the
And
way
so I would
that it,
ask more
but
questions.
but with the way that it wraps, with almost a dismissal of Meghan's pursuits, or the way that it wraps with the criticism of Meghan's career trajectory, does that tell you that it wasn't, her expectations were met? If she was criticizing Meghan Markle before, now they've had this dinner, and now she may not. I mean, Martha's sitting down for a profile on herself, a cover of People magazine. If I'm Martha Stewart and I've worked my entire life um, on this brand, and People magazine is giving me a cover, I'm a little annoyed that I'm having to talk about Meghan Markle, who is given everything in life because of the man she married. And Martha is very like, I could never be married again and be completely content. Martha's a very independent woman, a self-made woman. So I can see her just being, not only that, but back when King Charles was in the United States in May, she met with King Charles in New York. Martha Stewart did, and
Hmm.
had a blast posting about it on her Instagram, posting about his hot equerry on her Instagram. She was just like thrilled to be in the presence of real royalty. So I can see, if I'm there to get my cover, I'm going to try to be sugary and sweet, but I'm also annoyed that I'm being asked about this girl that I don't think worked her way into the position she's in and doesn't compete with me in any way, shape, or form. So is that why it kind of ends in almost a dismissal of Meghan Markle's accomplishments?
Yeah, because she's again trying to distance herself from that. She don't want to be a part of that at all. I think she
Mm.
sees that whole thing is going away, so it's not on the edge of what's happening, in the zeitgeist of things that are coming up and be exciting and new and all that. I think she sees her star crashing, and so she's distancing herself from her in every way she possibly can. And I didn't get the feeling that this was different than she has talked about it before because it seemed pretty solid. I think that's what she actually thinks are the things we've her talk about. So I don't think she likes her very much. I think that's the impression she's trying to make, and I think it worked because I think it's honest.
There's and I'm so sorry I can't remember his name, but there's is it Jose Andre? There's a chef that Harry and Meghan are friendly with.
Hmm.
And Martha did a TV show with him. And when they were doing, this is just an example of how fearless she is, and how when she doesn't like somebody, she sticks to the script, or, you're not going to bend this woman for anyone. And we know People magazine loves Harry and Meghan. In fact, they love Harry and Meghan so much, they rushed to call Martha Stewart a liar with this anonymous source story. But she was sitting in a junket next to, I believe this, well, I think it's Jose, I don't know, a chef that Harry and Meghan have a relationship with, and was still critical of Meghan. And I remember sitting there watching the interview at the time going, either she's oblivious to the fact that this chef loves Harry and Meghan, or she just does not care, because he is kind of slowly dying in his seat as she's being critical of Meghan. And she is just doesn't care, just it's Martha being Martha. And I honestly think that that's one of the reasons why we love her so much is it doesn't matter who she's sitting next to. It doesn't matter, what, I mean, even she was jeopardizing her relationship with the host of this dinner party potentially by calling out Meghan for clout chasing, calling out Meghan for regurgitating her blissful European vacation at this dinner party where, you'd assume loose lips sink ships and everybody's got to keep what was discussed a secret.
I don't think Martha Stewart gives a rat's hind about anything anybody thinks or says. I think she's one of those. She'll tell you, if you ask her something, say, here's the answer I have for that. And not that she's being rude or trying to be rude, but sometimes you want the answer to that. I get in trouble for that a lot because I don't care, because who am I trying to impress? So I think we're just getting what she's thinking. I don't think she's dressing it up at all. She's making it shorter in that one little situation so she can look further away from her. But if you ask her something, I think she'll tell you exactly what she's thinking.
Yeah, I love that because I did. Yeah, the way you explained it as her basically buttoning up the conversation, like she's telling them this subject is, we're ending this subject. Let's move on to the next thing. And it was Chef Jose Andres. I just Googled it. So thank you, God. Thank you, God. It was Chef Jose that she's sitting next to when she was dismissive of Meghan during a previous interview. But yeah, I mean, I kind of understand if I'm excited for my sit down with People magazine for my cover, I don't want to talk about somebody else. I'd rather talk about myself and what I've accomplished. Hey everyone, Kinsey Schofield here, and I want to tell you about today's sponsor. It's a total game changer, Peak's Liver Detox Protocol. You may not know it, but your liver handles a lot: energy, hormones, digestion, and even your mood. But with all the stress and toxins from everyday life, it needs some love. Forget harsh cleanses. Peak delivers gentle daily support inspired by traditional Chinese medicine. Their routine uses two simple blends. The first is a warming turmeric mix with cinnamon and black pepper, designed to help the body absorb it better and support the liver while calming inflammation. The second is a ginger and cinnamon blend that helps with blood flow, digestion, bloating, and immune support. The magic is how they work together to activate and flush for better digestion, stable energy, less brain fog, and that light, clear feeling. My energy is consistent, my skin is clear, and less bloating. That's Peak, where spirit meets science. Redefine your standard of health, secure 20% off your order, and begin your intentional wellness journey today at peaklife.com/Kinsey. That's PIQUE life.com/Kinsey. Thanks so much. Let's talk about someone different that's having to discuss Meghan during their interview. And this one, I'm curious to know what the body language says to you, because it's a MasterChef Australia reaction. It's a radio station, Nova 93.7. And they posted to Instagram. Always a pleasure to chat with our very own TV royalty, Poh Ling Yeow. And this we joked about last week during the BFF video of they paired her and Meghan together, and she's showing Meghan the banana bread she's made for Meghan. Oh, yeah. And we were like, well, she's kind of put in an awkward spot during this radio interview where they say, what was it like working with her? So I want you to break down her body language here and tell me if you think her sympathies are sincere, because she does kind of show some sympathy towards Meghan, but she also starts it off with maybe something that could be considered a little annoyed when she's like, if I had a quarter or whatever for every time I'm asked about her. So let's check out that video.
If I got a buck for every time someone asked me about Meghan, I'd be a billionaire. We had such a lovely time with her. And she was model citizen. Like, honestly, no fuss, hung out with us, didn't scurry away into her green room. Yes. Was just completely sort of engaged with the whole process and, like, knows her food. Like, nothing to complain about at all.
These headlines, it is. You're reading some of the language here. Others claim Poh was left upset and desperate to personally apologise for calling her the Duchess or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
And this is a classic one, which I always love. According to various unnamed sources, blah blah blah. Oh my God!
It's ridiculous. It's the first time anything like that's kind of happened to me.
Yes.
So it's been very eye-opening for me to see what she cops.
Yes.
Every day. It's really full on.
So like at the top, she kind of, to me, she's kind of like, oh, here we go. But then when she realizes that the tone of the hosts are maybe a little sympathetic towards her and Meghan, then to me, her attitude shifts. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're good at this. No, you're completely right. Yeah, you're seeing, I think what's actually happening. I think she's tired of the negative part of information she gets and has to talk about. And that's maybe refreshing for her. I hate to sound that way, but that may be something she's into because it's nothing bad. I mean, it's something bad coming in, but she can say, no, this didn't happen. And I believe her when she says that didn't happen.
Oh, wow. And then when she says that she feels sorry for all of the attention Meghan Markle receives, did you believe her there? Because I kind of did.
Yeah, I think she's sympathetic toward the Meghan Markle cause.
Yeah.
We'll say, yeah.
Well,
So-
we've just we recorded a few highlights from MasterChef last week, but more footage came out that we had access to, and we just kind of texted each other over the week about it. And you'd made some points to me that I apologize for forgetting whether or not you'd made them on the show, but you talked about an insecurity a little bit. Did you continue to see the insecurity throughout the new pieces of footage that you saw from the MasterChef episode, Australia? Or did you see more confidence when you watched the new footage?
I thought about exactly what you're talking about because that's what I was looking for to make sure. I'm under the impression she was by herself. She may have had an assistant with her or something like that, but no way that she really, get close with and talk to a lot. And I think she's trying to be extra nice to these people, which goes back to what that woman was saying a second ago about we didn't have any problems with it. It was great and all that. I think she's trying to fix the problems she has. I think she may be trying to fix her publicity problem, or whatever y'all call that. I think she's trying to fix that. That's why she's being a little bit overly nice for her normal level of niceness.
Right. Well, I will say that I repeated this story because I read it in page 6 that Poh had referred to her as royalty, not a duchess, but royalty. And maybe it wasn't Poh, maybe it was somebody else on the set. But I had repeated that there were issues on set for calling her royalty. It sounds like they're saying that wasn't an issue. So if that wasn't an issue, I apologize for repeating that story. But and then I also saw the story that Meghan was exhausting because she didn't know the process, which I called out and said that's BS. This girl in 2016 shot Chopped Jr. for the Food Network. You do one show like that, you've done them all. I highly doubt she. And again, here we have somebody that was there saying that I did not experience anything difficult about her. So while we are constantly covering, these rumors and Meghan's behavior and some of the narcissism that we recognize personally, that we feel personally is a reflection of narcissism, I'm not going to say something's true if somebody's saying it's not true that was there. I'm going to say, I apologize for repeating something. You know what I mean? I think that's decent journalism. And I'd rather my audience be able to trust me versus just being mean-spirited for no reason.
I'll have to say, since now, I don't watch a whole lot of royal stuff. I have started since we've started doing this. I can't, like I said before, it's got me. And I watch some of these things, and some people, they're saying a lot of the same thing, and you don't say that. And the next thing you know, that disappears because it never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll text you and I'll go, what's up with this? You go, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
But they're all leaned in, not all, but some are leaned in going, yeah, this has happened, that happened. And you don't do that. Where are you getting this information from? Are you hooked? You're with the England.
Well, I mean, some of it is common sense. Like to say that Meghan Markle was exhausting on the set of the show because she didn't know what she was doing. I immediately thought she did the Food Network in 2016. You know, I showed you the video she did in 2016 on the Today Show, which is, you know, that's even more difficult because you're not the judge then, you're being judged because Matt Lauer is hovering over you and you're live on a street corner throwing together a dish live on TV. And I just thought that's common sense says that that's not true. And somebody's just lying so that people will subscribe to their Substack. And then this woman comes out and says that's not true, and I'm vindicated. But I think that's what I try to do is just ignore it and stay above the fray if I don't believe it.
How come you don't come out and see? That's another thing. I'd come out and say, you know what so and so said. I'd be that way. You never do that. So I think that's respectful.
Because I'd rather just hang out with you, and I'd rather just hang out with the people that I value because I trust them, and I'd rather just have valuable conversations. I think of us as like, because my favorite thing in the world is to watch these documentaries that are like from the 80s and the early 90s about the royal family, because you get a real sense of what was going on. And, you know, it's not just, you know, reading beautifully written books, you know, you're watching these people kind of react in real time to the chaos. I think of what we're doing as historical footage, historical documents. So, yeah, like 20, 50 years from now, Scott Rouse and Kinsey dissecting body language that turns out to be true can show up on a documentary when they're talking about a specific point in history. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And they'll be going, he's 112 years old. Did you know he's still alive? He's still around.
I'd love to know what your diet and supplement routine is.
It's a lot of hot chicken, Hattie B's. That's the key, man.
But yeah, so I think that we can trust this woman. I don't think that she has any reason to lie about the circumstances. What are the odds Meghan Markle's going to come back? Not very high. So she could have gotten on there and just been like, she was a total terror. But to your point, that doesn't mean Meghan wasn't a terror. It means she is trying to change public perception of her because her behavior has been recognized as a pattern in the past, and it's created, unfortunately, a terrible reputation for her based on people actually speaking out about their experiences with her. I was just reading an article, and again, I believe this, in the Daily Mail about pre-Harry, how Meghan was at the opening of a Soho house and was overheard complaining to the front desk about her goodie bag. And I was like, oh God, like, I do believe that happened. I do believe the people that talked to the Hollywood Reporter, the people that talked to Vanity Fair. And I think a lot of what we see today is Meghan trying to clean up her reputation. And that's why when we watch Meghan's behavior, we will say that we don't believe that that's genuine, or we wonder whether it's authentic or she's being authentic, because it does feel so much like she's trying to change her brand, rebrand herself, or be known as like a softer, kinder person after this horrific reputational fall.
Let's go back to the gift bag. What was in the gift bag? Why was he
I honestly don't know what could be in a Soho House gift bag. I thank God I don't. But, you know, Soho House is that exclusive members club, and she kind of meets Harry through this group of friends. It's their first date was at a Soho House, London. Harry stays at the Soho House property sometimes when he's in London. So they have some of Meghan Markle's As Ever products are featured at the Soho House in LA. So Marcus Anderson is her friend. She has a well-established relationship with them, and apparently was complaining about whatever was in her goodie bag. Maybe she didn't feel like she'd gotten one as nice as somebody else or something. But that does sound like Meghan loves our girl loves a freebie.
Hey, then where does this thing with the girl from the reporter, where does she fit into all this? This is before Meghan, right?
So this is before Meghan marries Harry. And the reason why this was in the Daily Mail was to say that Meghan had a reputation before marrying Harry of being difficult, which is why some of the reporters in the UK immediately believed the rumors that were coming out of Kensington Palace that Meghan was being difficult. For instance, like she said to Kensington Palace employees when she was dating Harry, I might be your boss one day, to try to like put the fear of God into them, that they needed to listen to her. And so basically the report in the Daily Mail was, hey, there were whispers before she married Harry, and her relationship with Harry made her even more entitled to behave this way. Unfortunately, she does have to be painfully fake, which is how I would describe the MasterChef.
Oh yeah.
And, painfully fake to try to pivot and reverse course, because she now has a reputation for being not a very nice person. Or if you even look at the loss of the Spotify deal and the loss of the Netflix deal. I know people will say that they just changed their Netflix deal, but Netflix did abandon being her partner in the As Ever brand. I think that that's proof that she's difficult to collaborate with professionally.
Okay. You got it all, man.
Unloading
Wow.
on you. Just
Yeah, no,
unloading
that's
on
a
you.
lot. I'm trying to remember all of it.
Well, we were nice. I don't know if I'm going to be as capable of being nice for these next videos.
Okay.
So there was a special guest at the David Foster Foundation's 40th Anniversary Gala in Victoria, British Columbia. And hey, I met David Foster. I love David Foster. I worked with him for Celebrity Fight Night, which was Muhammad Ali's charity event. And he is a very charitable person. He's a great person. And unless you ask some of the people that are familiar with his behavior towards his ex-wife, who was a housewife. But the David Foster Foundation has raised millions of dollars, covering a variety of non-medical expenses for roughly 1,600 Canadian families with children in need of life-saving organ transplants. It now helps upwards of 100 families a year. This is a great cause. And surprise, surprise, Harry and Meghan showed up in Canada. All eyes were on them. I saw one comment that said, it looks like Harry and Meghan always make it look like the people around them are, beneath them, when it's really supposed to be the David Foster show. Watch the body language here and tell me if you agree with that observation, because I understood exactly what they were saying when they said Harry and Meghan always make it look like it's their show and other people are like the schleps. I think what people are observing is like that Meghan's trying to choreograph that. Come on, Meghan, it's not your show. Like, why are you taking charge of this situation? It's David Foster's name is on the event. He's right there. Why are you the one doing the arm movements and trying to rally the troops? It's not your job.
When you look at situations like this, you want to look at who's moving the least and who's moving slower than everybody else. That's usually the dominant person in the situation. If you're in a group of people, you watch the person that moves the least. Keep your eye on that person, because they're the ones that are going to be either they're in charge or they're the dominant person in that group. Now, David Foster, for anybody who doesn't know, yeah, he does a lot of charity work and stuff. That's nothing compared to what he was or is as a producer, as a record producer. That guy's one of the King Kongs. I mean, he's such a great piano. You've spent time with him. He's such a great piano player and such a great guy. I've met him only a couple of times. I didn't get to hang out with him a lot or anything, but I was dumbfounded by how, once you start talking to him, how much he's a smart guy. He's really smart, so to have Harry and Meghan there, I would be under the impression it's to help raise money for whatever the thing is. But he is obviously the dominant person in the situation. You see Harry and Meghan trying to corral them, getting them to sit over, tell them where to stand and all that. But watch how David Foster moves. He's very slow, very intentional. And his wife is the same way. I believe it feels like she's almost ignoring them, So I could be wrong about that. But that I think what's going on there, we're seeing a difference of a dominant person and the people just below that. I don't want to say, but yeah, I think he's the dominant person in that situation, and you can tell he's in charge.
And is Meghan's enthusiasm for,
Meghan.
wrangling them, because to your point, David Foster does have this incredible reputation. So Harry and Meghan need the picture more than David Foster and Catherine need the picture.
Oh, David Foster's not in there. He's not into, hey, look, it's me. Look what I'm doing. None of that. Megan, the whole time, she's making these over expressive smiles and stuff because she knows she's having her picture taken the whole time. That's normal for people who are in that situation. But watch David Foster and his wife. They're not doing all that. They've got the one smile. They turn around, walk up there, and they stand for whatever it is. And then Harry and Meghan are all goofy, jumping around, moving a lot. Big difference in there. Big difference. And it's such a big difference between the dominant person, the person who's in charge. Now it could be because they're nervous, Harry and Meghan. Could be because they're nervous
Do you
and
really
they
think?
feel.
I mean, I pulled a video of Harry solo, and we'll look at the comparisons. But like when Harry and Meghan are together, Meghan on a carpet, Meghan to me is like you know how sometimes you joke about how she's waited all of her life for this moment.
Oh
That's how
yeah.
I feel every time I see Meghan on a carpet. Like she's so happy that she's having her photo taken. She's just so thrilled. I don't know if they're nervous as much as Meghan is like giddy that her dreams are coming true.
Well, I never thought about it like that. That could be it. That could be it as well. But they're
Yeah.
moving a whole lot. And to me, she looked a little bit on edge there. Not edge for as far as being angry, but a little nervous.
Well,
She looked a
like
little bit
she
out of
laughs
control.
obnoxiously at Harry, like exaggerates a laugh at Harry, and you can just tell she's trying. That is for the cameras.
Oh yeah, because I'm with him. Look, it's my husband. It's eight. That whole thing. So that's what that's about. It's like, look at me, I'm with him.
Mm.
You know.
Does it mean anything to you that Catherine and Meghan went to school together and they used to do theater together and they've known each other for decades? I mean, I can't say that they've been consistent friends for decades, but it's actually, I believe they probably reconnected once Meghan married Harry. Harry has referred to David Foster as a father-like figure, and it was David Foster who organized their Canadian escape when before they officially quit, they spent some time in Canada during the holidays, opted not to spend the holidays with the royal family. We later found out that this is when they were scheming Megxit, when they stayed in this Canadian home. They were building the website, announcing that they were leaving. They were talking to Meghan's team, but nobody at the palace about how to plan this big exit. And that was the home, I should say, was arranged by David Foster. He was doing them a favor there. So there is a history there between this couple.
I didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
So
So
they put up a website about them leaving.
yeah, so before they got permission from the Queen Elizabeth, to leave on their terms, they built a website called Sussex Royal. They filed trademarks so that they could sell tea towels and things like that. Like this is
Ew.
and they built a website where they explained how things were going to work now that they were leaving the royal family, and they released the site before they told the royal family what was going on. So the royal family was like reading about these things in the newspaper as Harry and Meghan were trying to communicate that they were leaving, which the family found wildly disrespectful and inappropriate. And
No
then like the
kidding.
funniest part is if you go back and read what their terms were at the time, they've lied, in my opinion, attorneys. They said that they were only going to work with up and coming grassroots media. People magazine. Is that
Uh,
what how you would describe People magazine? But yeah, so David Foster had a hand in that escape.
hmm. Well, I love David Foster. I think he's awesome. He can
Yeah, I
do
know that's my thing
anything.
too.
I'm
Is
down
like
with him.
I love him even if he's sitting next to Harry. I'll always love David Foster. I've only had positive interactions with David Foster.
Me
I
too.
think he's a fox, so I don't understand what the attraction is to Harry. I just think he's a good guy, and obviously he helps a lot of people in need. Maybe he
Yep.
thinks Prince Harry's another idiot in need.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I really like him. I think he's a cool guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he
So I
is.
got nothing on that.
Well, that video is nothing compared to the video that Meghan then posted on Instagram about her night with the Fosters. Let's take a look at that because, in my opinion, it's completely unreal. The Watch how long she stays on herself. Because, first of all, I think when I sent you this message, I texted you, like, who does she hire to follow her around?
Oh
For,
yeah.
for a couple of people that hate the paparazzi, who does she hire to follow her around with a camera? And like, B, I'm assuming she knows how to edit a video. The way that they linger on her, it's way too long.
How much my husband loves bagpipes. Oh my God.
This is great. So we're mine.
Yeah.
Pipes and drums. Pipes and drums. It's pipes and drums. Just to be clear.
Thank you.
Sexy.
So watch her say my husband loves bagpipes. So annoying.
How much my husband loves bagpipes. Oh my God.
It's like, it's not that funny. You know how much my husband loves bagpipes. It's not funny.
Knows how far ahead she is of him as well.
Yeah.
When he's talking, she's gone in the next room almost.
Yeah.
That's it. I hate getting on here just being so snarky about her all the time.
Well, no, I mean, you know, for what you're saying is just like she's got her own agenda. But what you probably don't know is that royal protocol dictates that the wife, especially if you've married, you know, someone in line to the throne, somebody in the line of succession, which Harry, he's in the gutter at this point, but still technically, the wife walks several steps behind. If you go watch video of Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth, Prince Philip is always several steps behind Queen Elizabeth. Now, we have noticed that when Prince William and Catherine are at a royal engagement and it's Catherine's royal engagement, he tends to walk behind her. And that is, while some would call that, you know, veering away from protocol, others would recognize it as a sign of respect.
Yeah,
but this is like Meghan Markle just being like, to hell with you. I'm on to the next thing.
Yeah. I think that this has nothing to do with anything. When she's putting her hand up and doing that, oh my gosh, I can't do that. I can't.
What is that like from a body language perspective? I mean, she clearly is her number one fan. You know, again, I think, and we've worked in the entertainment industry, both of us, so we know how these things go. There are meetings where you talk about what your popularity is, and they call it a Q score in Hollywood, and the Q score dictates how well known you are, but how liked you are versus are you just a household? Are you infamous? Are you famous? You know, the Q score dictates like where you stand when it comes to marketability, maybe for a brand or for a new Netflix contract or whatever. And so we know that they're sitting around sometimes having meetings where they say, Meghan has a reputation for being a bully. What can we do to change that perception? And MasterChef Australia comes up and she does that. And she's nice and vanilla and boring. And then everybody can report back that she was sweet as pie. But I also think that somebody's going like, you just have to see us behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, they would love us. And then they post something like this. And I'm like, I can't stand these two people. Harry is feeling himself, you know, like trying to make jokes. Oh, and drums too. No one cares. No, honestly, no one cares. And then Meghan, like touching her, laughing at herself, touching her face. It's just all, I think they think that they're showing us their genuine side and how funny and carefree they are. And I'm just like, God, you guys are so vapid, shallow, obnoxious, and empty.
Yeah, that's all performative. It's all put on. I'm going to start doing that thing with my hand all the time. I'm going to start doing that too. If you say something that embarrasses me, I'm going to do this when I'm giving you an answer.
The worst part is she's like saying it after she thinks she says something cute. So you have to do it now after you make a joke. After you make a joke that's not funny.
Just say something cute.
Yeah, exactly. And go, oh my gosh, what is it? I hate it. I don't know what it is, but I hate it.
Yeah, that's all put on. I mean, obviously it's put on, but I mean, I don't get it, man. I don't know. I don't have anything about that. It just looks so fake. It's ridiculous to me. I just can't take it.
Does Prince Harry look content to you? Does Prince Harry look like happy in that situation? Or he looks carefree to me.
Yeah, but he's doing his, hey, I've got to talk to all these people. He knows the camera's there.
That's
why he's stopping.
It's kind of like royal thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So he has to say something. And listen to what he's saying. It means nothing. Of course, you can't mean something every time when you're just walking through a bunch of people, but he's doing it on purpose. I don't know. That kind of thing. The fake stuff really bothers me, you know, because I don't know. I can't.
Yeah.
bless their hearts, but it's just so bad, you know?
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's hard probably to break down body language when you don't feel like you're seeing a moment of sincerity.
Yeah, and depending on what the situation is, if someone's being asked a serious question and they look and they're, and they look insincere, I can talk about that all day long. But when you're setting up something for yourself to be videoed and you're walking around, and you know how you're going to act, you know what you're going to do, it's all performative. It's just this little play she's got going on. Like as Kafka said, every man must be the hero of, at best, must be the hero of his own story. So she's the hero of this story. She just keeps creating. And the story isn't this big, long story. It's this one that's created. And then 4 minutes later, you go into the story. And then 4 minutes, instead of a lifetime or a big adventure or something, it's just this weird story that just keeps going here. Then she'll film it and be part of it. And she'll go here and then she'll film it and be part of it instead of having a life and then climbing through it like that. Does that make sense?
It does. And I will just stress for anyone that's mad at me for criticizing them for doing any charity work, I thought about that. I was like, can I criticize them when they showed up for something that's really meaningful? And again, I love David Foster and what David Foster does. But Harry and Meghan seem to attach themselves to things that are already successful, and then try to take credit for them. So if this was something that I felt like they were sacrificing anything or contributing in any real way, I would try to reel myself in, and I would be like, hey, Harry and Meghan showed up to do something that was really nice, and we need to acknowledge that. However, and I actually did feel that way up until I saw this video. I was like, I'm not going to say anything negative. If I'm called or somebody asks me about this off the cuff, I'm just going to be like, look, it was a charity event. But then I saw the video, her look at me video that she uploaded where somebody that has permission is recording her. And I thought, it's always about her. She's always doing this for herself. It's never for the people that it should be for. And then I thought, then fair game. Then I am going to criticize it.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're there for themselves. I think we'll see it in 2027. I think it'll be less and less we see them doing things like this because they don't have no oomph with that. He's not going to be, from what I understand, is he going to be kicked out, you think, in 27? Or is that just some of that?
Well, I mean,
there's
not like a countdown onto when King Charles passes away. I think if he loses anything, it'll be when King Charles passes away. I don't think that the king has, and I apologize, this is treasonous. I could be locked in the tower for this. But I don't think the king has the courage to cut Harry and Meghan off. I think that poor Prince William will inherit the Harry and Meghan problem, and it will be William that says, "You out of here."
Okay. Think he'll kick his brother out?
I hope he will.
Do they hate each other?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. All right. I thought maybe there was my fuss with my brother. We get over it. But of course, this is different. I never call my parents racist.
Well, yeah. Well, Catherine William's wife was one of the accused racists in Omid Scobie's Endgame book in the Dutch version.
Oh,
So
yeah.
William was angry about that.
Okay.
William was angry that Harry put private text messages that Catherine had sent Meghan in his book Spare. Harry criticizes Catherine for not wanting to share her lip gloss with Meghan Markle. Has the man never heard of a herpes outbreak? But he criticizes Catherine for reluctantly sharing her lip gloss with Meghan at one point. And it's like, grow up. I know I asked you about Harry's comfort level on the David Foster red carpet.
Mhm.
And I pulled, and it's not out of nowhere. My girlfriend, Nikki Gostin from Page Six, posted a video of Prince Harry in July at the TIME100 Sports event. And so I wanted to play you this. Even though it's a little bit older, I wanted you to look at Harry with Meghan on a carpet versus Harry alone on a carpet to see if you had an opinion about, his behavior and how it differs. So let's take a look at Harry in New York by himself on the carpet for TIME100. Here he is. He's talking to somebody in the wings. He walks over to have his picture taken solo. a little tense, in my opinion. Ugh, look at that face.
Hmm.
So does Harry look less confident when Meghan's not there? More confident? How do you respond to him solo on a carpet?
I don't think he's good by himself. I don't think he's comfortable being without Meghan. I think his quote unquote other half is probably his other half
Mm.
because he has nobody to play off of, stand there and smile at to show that he's, you know what I mean?
Well, also
You don't have
Meghan
any
seems
play
so
there.
happy when they're on a carpet, and maybe he's
Yeah.
feeding off of her energy because she's happy to be there.
Where is she? Do you know?
We don't know
Why-
why she wasn't there with him that night.
Where,
No.
where did this actually happen? What
In
is this?
July, this was right after their trip to the UK. He went to accept an award for being one of the most influential people in sports. We covered it when it happened.
Oh, okay. But I didn't know he was by himself. I didn't know she had, or maybe I did. Oh,
You did.
yeah, I remember now.
You did.
Okay, I remember now. Sorry, I'm trying to think. See, I watch all these things now.
I
I can't
know.
keep it straight. I
I
can't keep
know.
what's going
But
on.
yeah, so do you believe, because when I watched, he jokes with the photographers at one point and says, "You're the nicest photographers," like because he says he hates media. But you do get the sense that because he said in the past, I get PTSD whenever I hear cameras clicking,
Hmm.
and in referencing the death of his mother. There, I kind of got that, but then if you go back to the David Foster carpet, you don't get the sense at all that he's having any sort of PTSD or issues with the photographers.
I think it's just something he says.
Right,
If it's,
because wouldn't Meghan's presence heighten that concern for you if you try to convince us that she's the
yes.
second coming of Diana? Wouldn't you be even more concerned with Meghan there and the photographers?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's probably just something something to say. I've got PTSD from cameras because they were taking pictures of my mom all day. I understand he was there a lot and, there's a lot of that going on, but that's been going on his whole life, not just back then. It hadn't stopped.
Yeah,
Why would he lock into that? You know what I mean? And
I do.
start saying about that just to connect himself. Remember who my mom is. This is why I'm here. It could be that.
Also remember, my wife is just like my mother. And to that point,
Yeah.
at the David Foster event, Meghan wore a pair of Diana's earrings on the carpet. She always is wearing something of Diana's to remind the world that she's connected to Diana somehow. It just feels so gross.
I bet that's what's making William mad.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine like having to open up the newspaper and seeing your mother's jewelry dangling on another PR opportunity for Meghan Markle?
No, no, I agree with that. That wouldn't be good. That wouldn't be good.
Again, too, like if we really thought that Harry and Meghan were showing up to raise money for this foundation and it was a totally selfless exercise, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But it's the backstage access that Meghan gives us on Instagram that flips it all upside down.
Yeah, I agree.
You mentioned Prince William, and let's end on a high note, right?
Okay.
Let's end on a high note because Prince William announced the Queen Elizabeth Digital Memorial last month, and it marked a significant milestone with the launch of a new collection of archive content and records, including memories from those who knew her and the wider public. So what I loved about this video was we rarely see him talking about his grandmother. And this was one of those raw moments that just seemed very authentic from the Prince of Wales, sharing his memories of Queen Elizabeth. If you're curious, you can go to queenelizabeth.com and see more. But watch this video and give me your response to his delivery.
Whilst I had the privilege to know the late Queen better than most, some of my fondest memories of my grandmother are from here in Windsor. I remember many a quiet afternoon having tea with her and my grandfather at the castle, chatting, sharing stories, and seeing how completely at ease she was here, surrounded by family and her much-loved dogs and horses. To this day, she's given me a love of tea time that I never knew I needed. Watching her ride her horses in the Great Park, even well into her later years, showed a side of Granny the world didn't often see. Off-duty, relaxed, and utterly at home. These moments with my grandmother are ones I'll always hold dear.
So it's like such a sweet, I mean, I believed every word of that, like such a sweet delivery.
Yeah. Can you imagine calling the Queen Granny?
When you watch the Prince William video, do you just think that's a person that's comfortable with public speaking, or because he actually does not give us a lot of insight into his personal life. He's very protective of that. And very clever in the way that he gives us just bits and pieces of it, not to overshare. It's like he recognizes that the mystique is one of the most important parts of the family. So what was that? Was that him letting his guard down, or was that him compartmentalizing where he's like, well, no, I'm going to share this tidbit because it's beneficial to the launch of this new initiative? Do you have any reaction to that?
Yeah. Well, let me break it down as a whole. Then we'll go through the little parts of it. It's something that he's prepared for, and he's reading it, but he's read it a lot. He's rehearsed it, right? So, and the emotion we're seeing with that, a lot of it is true emotion. When you're like when I help someone that's going to be on the news, and they ask me, what can I do when I'm reporting wherever, I tell them to do these little bumps. Today we're going to talk about so and so. This has happened. You'll see them bump up in the important parts. And sometimes we do that when there's excitement for us, or we feel an emotional expression, and we'll just do it naturally. So, and I'm teaching the news people how to do it so it's not natural. We're seeing it naturally done here because it's not really, really fast. It's just these little bumps like that. Notice Catherine. Let's compare the time when she was talking about, remember she was out there and there was the mountains or big hills behind her, and she was talking about something. She was talking about cancer and those kind of things.
Climbing the 3 Peak Challenge.
Yes, that's what it was. I just remember the video. Those are very similar. They were both very calm. They're both reading something. They're telling you what happened. They're relaying the information, but there's still an emotional element to it, and a true emotional element. Nothing fake in there. I didn't see anything fake on that. Usually, you can tell because they'll overdo it. You have to finesse those things so it doesn't look fake, but it still looks fake when you know what to look for. I looked and looked and looked, and I couldn't see anything fake on this. I couldn't see anything where he didn't mean what he was saying, even though he was reading it. I don't think he wrote that, but I think he felt what he was reading, if that makes sense. And the same for Catherine when she's doing hers. We're seeing those same it's a steady emotional delivery, but we're still seeing those little pops of emotion at the right times. If that makes sense.
Yeah. If they do have because Princess Diana worked with a speech delivery coach and a public speaking coach. So if William and Catherine share one, it's a pretty good one, is what you're saying.
Yeah, because it looks good, sounds good, everything. It's solid and steady. There's not a lot. When you see Harry out doing his thing, he's always doing this number, goofing around with his pants, tucking his shirt in. He's doing this a lot and that a lot. You don't see much of that here at all. Exactly, nothing.
Right. Yeah.
So
They're just
big difference.
There's a confidence, but also, this is William's life. He's accepted that this is his life, and he loves this. Well, I don't know. I can't speak for him and say he loves this life, but he's accepted that this is his life and job. Whereas Harry isn't committed. Like 1 minute he leaves the British royal family, and now we're seeing him crawling back. So it might not come as naturally to Prince Harry as it does to Prince William.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Well,
that makes sense.
Do you agree with us? Disagree with us? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. And please follow my friend Scott Rouse. You just did some more MasterChef Australia content on your YouTube channel. I loved the Darth Vader preview video. So thank you for making me laugh several times this week with that. I got to see it before you guys did, and I laughed audibly both times. So make sure you subscribe to my friend Scott Rouse on YouTube. He's going to be linked below. And we'll see you guys again very, very soon, hopefully with plenty of brand new content. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks for having me.